Bermuda's main opposition party hit by another resignation. And in sport, West Indies women off to a winning start in their 5-match series against South Africa. I'm Ricardo Roberts and this is Caribbean in 10 for Tuesday, September 25. I'll be back with the details after the break. A day after replacing their opposition leader, the embattled Opposition One Bermuda Alliance, OBA, received a fresh setback today when Justin Matthias resigned as party chairman. His departure comes after he publicly complained about the way in which Craig Canonia became opposition leader following the resignation last week of Jeanne Atherden, who lost a vote of no confidence over her leadership style. Leah Scott, the OBA's deputy leader, said the 25-year-old Matthias had notified the party executive yesterday in a letter saying his resignation would be effective from today. Scott said Matthias gave no reason for his decision. He will remain as chairman of the Future Bermuda Alliance, the party's youth wing. The OBA's leader in the Senate, Nandi Outerbridge, will act as chairman until the position is filled through an election process. Canonia was sworn in as opposition leader yesterday after he received the backing of 8 of the OBA's 11 MPs, but he has to go through a separate process to be elected party leader. In other news now, there are calls for the Jamaican government to find alternatives to states of public emergency in response to the country's crime problem. The most recent call comes from Reverend Adenhere Jones, chairman of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches. He says the state of emergency is a necessary short-term intervention at this time, given the crime situation in the country. But he says the group was wary that the emergency measure could become a long-term arrangement. Jones believes a long-term plan is needed to address the root causes of crime and violence. Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Sunday announced a state of public emergency across sections of the corporate area in the capital. It is the third such state of emergency to have been imposed since the start of the year.
We recognize that what is needed is a far-reaching, broad national strategy to reverse the elements that are producing violence and producing crime across the country.
This is now a critical time to look at empowering the people in those communities, in releasing the economic capital that is held in those communities, and to look at ways following up on this state of emergency to generate not only investment by outsiders.
The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, says Belize's economic recovery is strengthening with economic growth in the second quarter of this year estimated at 5.4%. An IMF delegation has just ended a 2-week visit to the CARICOM country, indicating that real GDP grew by 1.4% last year. The IMF delegation noted that the country's economic recovery is strengthening, supported by a favorable global environment. The Washington-based institution says the medium-term outlook remains challenging and that the real GDP growth is projected at 2.2% in 2018 and just below 2% in the medium term, in line with recent trends. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday says he's concerned at the haste with which government is moving to pass legislation to establish a medical marijuana industry. He says it seems the idea is to get the bills through as quickly as possible, and he doesn't think that it is proper with important legislation like this. Friday says his concern is shared by other opposition colleagues. The government says the permitted use of cannabis for religious purpose bill provides for the decriminalization of use of cannabis as sacrament in adherence to a religious practice by such religious bodies as may be prescribed by order of the minister, including but not limited to the Rastafarian faith at their place of worship. The Select Committee of Parliament is debating the three bills that Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar introduced in Parliament on September 6th. And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
Welcome to Janita's Farm and Nature Park.
2 sheep. That's how many animals Javon Arnold of Janature Farm and Nature Park had in 2014 when he decided to get into agriculture full-time. Now he has over 100 animals at his farm in Calder Hall Phase 2 and a National Youth Award.
I was having a little problems on work and thing. I say like, Javon, you need to find a long-term goal.
Kumar Brent has left Raging Fire. A message posted to his social media accounts began, "After some lengthy deliberation and meditation, it is with a heavy heart that I feel compelled to announce my decision to leave the band Raging Fire. I believe all concerned will benefit from a parting of ways at this point, and I see this as the inevitable conclusion." The 5-piece reggae band from Kingston was formed in 2006.
West Indies women were not at their best but still brushed aside South Africa by 17 runs yesterday as they began their final preparation for the defense of their T20 World Cup title in November. Now choosing to bat first at Kensington Oval, the hosts stumbled their way to 124 for 6 off their 20 overs, but then restricted the Proteas to 107 for 7 to take an important 1-0 lead in the 5-match T20 series, which moves to Trinidad for the remaining matches. Now Natasha McLean top scored with 38 off 41 balls to snatch the Player of the Match award in her first appearance for West Indies in 3 years, while all-rounder Deandra Dutton chipped in with 22. But the remainder of the batting flopped. Now in reply, only Marizanne Cap, who top scored with 30, and skipper Chloe Tyrone with 23, showed any resistance as off-spinner Stephanie Taylor and leg spinner Afi Fletcher hurt the innings with key strikes. Tyrone threatened with 2 fours and a 6 in a 16-ball knock, but was one of the 3 wickets to tumble for 35 runs, leaving the South Africans tottering on 66 for 5 in the 14th over. Cap, who belted 2 fours and a 6 in a breezy 22 innings, ball innings, then attempted a rescue mission in a 40-run 6-wicket stand with Faye Tunnicliffe, who made 14. But that partnership too was a slow one, lasting 39 balls, and by the time Taylor bowled Cap in the final over, the game was long gone. And meanwhile, West Indies women's head coach Henderson Springer commended the squad for defending the small total.
It was hard work. 120 yards. We didn't reach the 150 or 60 or 70 score we would have liked. But we knew once it was hard going for us, it would be hard going for them too, providing that we planned our attack really well, which we did, and the girls executed, 1 with good bowling, 2 with good feeling as well.
And the remainder of the T20 series bowls off at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.